Who doesn't love a lifted truck? Well, I can think of probably a lot of people that don't really like lifted trucks, namely people that are driving near them because they're just so big. But I've had this 2022 GMC Sierra AT4 with big tires and a big lift kit for the weekend. And I gotta say, I love this thing. From the perspective of the drive, it is an absolute hoot to drive this thing. It's fun to kind of like look down on people, not from a personal standpoint, but physically, you know, look down. It's also just a blast to just cruise around, sitting way up high, window down, arm out, just, you know, listening to country music, because you gotta listen to country music when you drive something like this. At least that's what I think. In this video, we're gonna take a look at the top 6 reasons why you should consider driving or getting a lifted truck. But before we get started, I would like to thank Impex Auto Sales in Greensboro, North Carolina for the opportunity to film this beautiful, massive 2022 GMC AT4 6.2 liter V8. This thing is just a beast. I love this thing. I'll be sure to leave all of Impex Auto Sales contact information, including their website, in the description box below. And honestly, I'm probably gonna go over more than 6 reasons, because while I'm walking around this thing just thinking things out about this video, I'm thinking about more ways that this getting a big truck is gonna benefit you. Let's start off with number 1, that bed. And that bed is gonna be the reason why you make a lot of friends. So in this truck, you can go up to it, you can push this button here, and this comes right down, so that makes it like a little workstation, a desktop. And since this thing has got such big tires and a lift kit and everything, this is actually about at my chest level. You can then push this up, you can drop the whole gate down, and it's got an easy open gate. That right there is why you're gonna make a lot of new friends, because when you have a truck, you have neighbors that need to move things. Those neighbors are like, hey Brock, can I borrow your truck, or can you help me move, or whatever? Or they just want to look cool on a Friday night and they just want to ride around with you. Number 1 reason, you're going to make a lot of friends. Number 2, it enhances handling. Now, I'm not saying it's going to handle on curvy roads and stuff like that. Of course it's not. In fact, it's going to do the exact opposite of that. It's going to be more difficult to drive on curvy roads, and it's going to have one awful turning radius. The turning radius in this thing is just like a daggum tank. It's terrible, probably worse than a tank. Anyways, the way that it's going to increase your handling or enhance your handling is the fact that you've got about 9 feet of ground clearance right there. Not quite 9 feet, but I can take this tripod. This tripod is actually set up on the lowest setting. But look, it's actually taller than that tripod right there. So you have a ton of clearance. So when it comes to mud puddles and potholes and speed bumps and logs and trees and houses, you're gonna be able to get over them with no problem. So when I say it enhances the handling of the vehicle, that's what I mean. You can fit your little tripod underneath it. Number 3, it's going to enhance your truck's towing capability. Now, let me put this up and I'll show you what I mean by that. So whenever you tow, if you put a big load on the hitch right there, that is going to cause the rear of the truck to go down. Whenever you have a lift on it and you've got bigger tires and everything, that's going to decrease the amount that it's going to squat. Therefore, it's going to bring the tongue up and it's going to increase your towing capability. That's pretty cool, because, you know, with all those new friends that need to tow things and take things, as long as they provide the trailer, you're going to be able to tow whatever you need to. Number 4, it enhances your view. You can see here that how big this thing is. I feel so stupid in front of this right now. Look at this. So obviously, since this thing is up so high, you are going to be able to see out of it much easier. And one of the things that is advantageous about having a better view, look at that. God, wow, that is just so far up there. One of the things that's advantageous about having a better view is your ability to see further down the road in traffic. Let's hop in, take a drive, and I'll explain that. One of the coolest things that I've experienced about driving this truck this weekend is the fact that because it is on such massive tires and it has such a big lift kit on it, you can see over everything. It's unbelievable, and you can look down on everybody else. Now that's not like a real benefit or anything, but it just feels really cool to be able to do that. To be able to pull up like to a Suburban or an Escalade or something and be like, you know, because I drive a Prius and all the time I'm always looking up at everybody. Again, it's not a huge deal. It's kind of a pride thing, and that's not good, but hey, it is what it is. It is just fun. Also, the other thing is you can actually see further down the road, and that actually could be a safety benefit. You can see like over all the other vehicles at a stoplight, so you're not wondering what's going on down the road in front of you. And you also can see whenever people are braking further down the road whenever they're in front of you as well. So I actually think sitting up high like this may be somewhat of a safety advantage in the long run, because you can just simply look down on people and see way off in the distance. It's actually a lot of fun. Check this out. Miata. See, there's a truck up here on the left that I would normally be a little bit intimidated by and look up at. I guess he's got a lift on it, he's got tires on it, but look, it's kind of small looking. Number 5, the next one is purely from a pride perspective. This one is only to turn heads. When you have a lifted truck, when you have big tires, when you have a cool vehicle, it's just the cool factor. You can drive around and turn heads and people will look at you and it's like, yeah, that's awesome. They may not be thinking that's awesome. They may be thinking you're whatever, but you are certainly thinking you're awesome when you're behind the wheel of your gigantic truck, aren't you? So, you know, for what it's worth, again, it's just for a pride issue, which may be an issue, but, you know, when you have a lifted truck, you can now get bigger tires, and this is also going to enhance your truck's overall performance. Not in a driving way of curvy roads, but in a way of less likely getting stuck in snow, mud, sand, water, whatever. Not water. Don't drive through puddles. Don't drive. Stay alive. All that stuff. But you can get bigger tires, and that makes it more fun to drive through stuff that you couldn't drive through with a regular standard tire. So those are your top reasons to get a lifted truck, to put lifts and suspension and big fat tires on your truck. But the number one reason to not do that, money. That junk is expensive. And if Impex would not have lent me this truck, I would never have this thing, because that is just that's just a massive chunk of money right there. I mean, if you got it, by all means, have at it. But for a little guy like me that drives a Prius, I can't do that mess. It sure is fun to borrow it for the weekend and to ride around and to go over speed bumps like a speed demon, and to drive through the parking lot of a big fat shopping center and everybody stare at you, and I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. Okay, everybody, so that is my list of the reasons I think you should drive a big lifted truck. I actually love bringing this vehicle to you because I got to drive it around and have fun with it. But if you enjoyed this video, or this helped you at all with making a decision to buy a big truck, lift your truck, or to get new tires for your truck, make sure you give it a big fat thumbs up and hit that subscription button. I would love to bring you more videos. Also, again, thank you so much to Impex Auto Sales in Greensboro, North Carolina, for the opportunity to film this beautiful 2022 GMC 1500 Sierra 4-wheel drive limited 4x4 awesomeness. Thanks, Impex. But remember, the most important thing of all, everybody, have a wonderful day.